Okay, friend, we are nearing the end. I have my straps are all sewn on. Yay, me. So this next part is going to be real simple. You're going to fold it right sides together, and you're going to sew down. You're going to pin and sew down the side seams. Hopefully your pockets and stuff will match. But you know, if they don't match completely, like mine don't, it's okay, because none of us is perfect, right? So what you want to do, sew the side seams. You're going to sew a 1/2 inch seam on these rather than your standard quarter that we do on everything else. The next part that we'll do after we sew the side seams is that we're going to bind basically these sides so that this rough stuff is not, you know, running into our hands when we're putting all our goodies in our bag. So we'll talk about that after I get my sides sewn. Hey, I had to go pause Christmas music, listen to a little John Rutter Christmas music. Okay, so I have my sides are all sewn up. Now what I have to do, I said I was going to make a binding, and what I've done, if you have prepackaged double wide binding, you can certainly use that. I always just make my own because I don't have binding, purchased, store-bought double wide binding. So what I do is I cut a piece of fabric and make it whatever you want. I matched my accent fabric. You can match the mesh. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. 2.5 inches. And I do make sure that it is longer than the bag, okay? However long you want, because you're going to fold part of it down. So what I've done is you fold this in half and press it. And then you fold those pieces to meet in the middle, and you're basically making your own binding. This is not bias, however, because I'm not going around any curves, and it's just, you know, I don't see the need to make it bias. But you want to make sure that you fold down your top piece of that so that you have a sealed edge on the top. And then you're going to take this part that you folded down, and you're going to wrap the edge just like that. And then you'll pin that and you'll sew that all the way down. And that will create the binding on your raw edges. And then the last thing that we have to do is just box the corners at the bottom. So I'm going to go do my binding, and I'll talk to you about the boxed corners. Although I think you probably know how to do this. I'm going to put it on this video anyway, just in case. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my bindings on. Yay and yay. One thing I do caution is that because I'm sewing just one seam, I will, once I've done it, I will flip it over just to make sure that I've caught the whole thing on both sides. And invariably, I will usually have to go back and maybe catch a little bit. But just be careful of that. Now, before we turn it right side out and see our beautiful handiwork, we want to talk about boxing the corners. And what we're going to do to box our corners is, you should have kind of a seam there at the bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to fold this so that the binding piece, that seam lines up with the middle on the bottom. Okay? So once you've done that, you should have it, it should look something like this. And what you're going to do is simply sew. I'm not doing a very good job here. But anyway, you're going to sew right along that line right there, about 1/8 of an inch or so away from the accent on the bottom of your pocket. Okay, so you do that on both of these, and you'll have a boxed up bottom, and we'll look at it and talk one last time before we're all done. Okay, I'm back. So there I've got my little flaps. Flap, flap, flap. A lot of patterns will have you trim that, but I actually will not. I leave it in there because it adds a little bit of extra stability and is not an open seam. So I really like to just leave mine like that. So now it's time to turn this bad boy around and see what it looks like all done. And while I'm doing that, I will talk to you about putting a bottom piece, a stabilizer on your bottom piece, which is, you can use cardboard, you can use foam core, you can use any kind of you know, stiff piece of board without it being an actual board, and cover it with fabric, and that creates a sturdier bottom, which I can tell you that the people who have purchased these in the past really appreciate having that added stability. So here we are, turning the bag, and voila, there we have it, our little bag. Yay! Yay! So one thing I did want to mention to you about these, where the placement of your straps, we had moved this 5 inches. If you move this over a little bit further on both sides, what's going to happen is it will create a wider pocket here in the middle, and these would become narrower, which, you know, that's just personal preference on you know, what you want to do. But this is very, very colorful. Look at my coffee cups. Yay! So when you're meeting your girls over at Panera and you're going to have some hot tea or some hot chocolate or some coffee, you can take your little book in here, or your little laptop, or, you know, things you want to show and tell. But anyway, that's basically it, and I hope that you enjoyed and learned something. So I'll talk to you soon. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.